If there was a type of question or concern or stress that came from any of you towards me, and look, the reality is we all think very weird shit fairly often. And if we're not comfortable modulating our thoughts or anchoring our thoughts or reality testing our thoughts, or if we're highly judgmental towards ourselves, any given thought at any given time can derail us mentally, emotionally, which can have physical ramifications as well. All that is to say, if you are in a space where you're obsessing, you're ruminating, you're stressing, and you're overthinking something and it's causing you discomfort, I've got a couple of quick hacks for you to move on from that and let that shit go. And these are things I do all the time. I am not immune to what would be potentially considered uncomfortable thoughts, but I'm certainly hardly ever impacted by them. And here's why. One, I'm incredibly good at reality testing, and you should get good at that as well. At least initially when it comes to newer thoughts or weird thoughts, right? Things that you might perceive objectively if you were a third party and be like, oh, that's not good. I shouldn't be thinking that. What's wrong with me? Stuff like that. I'm good at reality testing, and you should get good too. So I'm going to share with you a simple tip. It's called Triple C. Catch it, check it, change it, right? So if you have a thought and you react poorly to that thought, check it. Is it true? Can you prove it? If it isn't, move on. If that style of reality testing, which is really fast, it's off the cuff, it's right in your holster, if that doesn't work well for you, if you struggle to identify if something you are thinking is true and you can't prove it, have a friend who's willing to reality test with you, right? And let them take you through that process. Is it true? Can I prove it? Catch it, check it, change it. The thought, the reaction, and then change it. Oh, I can't prove it, so I can move on. Now, I'm going to give you an extreme example. I'm driving down the road. This has happened to me, swear to God. I'm driving down the road, and I imagine swerving off and hitting a pedestrian. I full on imagine just doing it. Now, in the past, I would have freaked out over that. In fact, I have a fairly vivid memory I thought I was having a good day, right? And I was driving home, and then I had the scenario from which I just spoke of, where I was going to swerve and hit someone. And I spent the next 2 or 3 weeks, this was many years ago, but I spent the next 2 or 3 weeks legitimately wondering if I was a psychopath, if there was something wrong with me, do I want to hurt people? And I got so despairing and so spooked over it. Granted, I think there were some other issues going on, mainly that I was constantly then looking for confirmation that there was something wrong with me, and kind of seeking out this uncomfortable threat level experience in my life. But that's the topic of another video. The point is, nowadays when I have strange, weird thoughts, whatever, they could be anything, I quickly catch it, check it, and change it. Oh, I had an interesting thought. Is it true? Can I prove it? Right? The previous response to the driving and hitting someone would have been like, oh, I want to hurt someone. I wanted to kill them. There's something wrong with me. And then I could look at that now, right? If it were to happen, and ask myself, well, do I have any history of trying to hurt people? No. Have I ever swerved off the road to hurt anyone ever? No. So I can't prove that there's something wrong with me. It could just be a random thought, whatever. So that's how I do it. Reality testing. Get good at it. It will save your life. It'll change your life. And or get good at finding people who are willing to do it with you. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is a little bit more open-ended. It's a little more of a philosophy of mine, or a style of response to my thoughts, right? So once I've reality tested something, after that, literally after that, I encourage the thought. I absolutely 100% put gas on the fire of any thought that I might historically have deemed as weird, inappropriate, dark, unacceptable, self-loathing, whatever. Bring it on is literally what I say to myself. Good for you. Go for it. Think it away. Think it all I possibly could want. I say shit like that to myself all the time. And I create almost this boundary between me and the thought that separates mind from thought, right? Like if I am my mind, if I am the self, then the thought is just this thing I can't control. And I really believe that. I think we can influence thoughts. I'm not one that thinks we can control them. I just think we influence them. Of course, as you may have heard, and this is something that's hardly new and certainly not unique, but our response to our thoughts, that's our truer self. That's our authentic self. My mind, my observation, and my response to these random thoughts, that's who I really am. That's how I gauge my sense of wellness and my sense of concern. So when I have weird thoughts or fucked up thoughts or thoughts that I might not otherwise want to share, Once I've reality tested them, if they happen to be new, I refuse to reality test them again. And I simply encourage them. I straight up say, good for you, Noah. Think it some more. I give myself every permission to go anywhere in my mind at any time, as often as I want to, for any reason. I have successfully and continuously remove judgment from any type of thought. I just don't care what I'm thinking about. And I think in a way that might relate to more people, this could be something random, but it could also be something that's more timely. It could be something that has more to do with current events, social issues, political issues, controversial issues, whatever. Sometimes I'll have thoughts that are opposing from what I perceive to be the main narrative of any given thought. And I used to struggle with that, and I no longer do, because once I've reality tested, I can think anything I want. I have every right to think anything I want. I'm not violating anyone, nor my own rights, in having my own thoughts. They're just thoughts, so think them away. And I just continue to encourage them. And the more playful I am with the entire thing, and the more I secure myself, the less often I get taken to dark, unmanageable, despairing spaces that can lead to sadness and anxiety and stress and sleep disturbance, things like that. Oh, look, the sun just came out. How apropos. So that's my little video for you today. This is something that has been on my mind because I know a lot of people struggle with their thought management and their response to their thoughts. It's a real thing. It can be really uncomfortable. I have just a tremendous amount of empathy for people that are acutely dealing with it, and experiencing problems with their thoughts and their response to them. Be gentle with yourself. Get comfortable using Triple C. Catch it, check it, change it. Reality test. If you can't prove it, it doesn't matter. Use a friend if you are struggling to reality test for yourself, if you're struggling with objectivity. And then beyond that, have a sense of humor about your thoughts and encourage your brain to think anything it wants. The more you encourage your mind to go ahead and do its thing and be what it is, think what it wants to think, the less power those thoughts have over you, and consequently, those thoughts tend to minimize. It's like once you stop struggling, it's like it's all good. I can think anything I want, and I will think anything I want. And I'll encourage my thoughts, and I'll continue to push into them. Do the same. It makes a difference, I promise. And if you have some other tip or suggestion that you think would be meaningful, share in the comments below. Let's mind meld a little bit on this one. My name is Noah, just a fellow traveler making random YouTube videos these days. But this was on my mind, so I'm talking about it and sharing it, and hope you guys are doing well. And if you're not, I hope you're staying brave. And if you are, good. Enjoy that shit. You deserve it. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Whatever that may be, whenever that may be. Adios.